Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wano gameplay video. This time with the second 2v2 tournament game in the Defcon 2 event from Voyas. As me and Stapler here are playing once more on the same map as we played in the first one, though this time it was picked by our opponents who are Cheesh and Stanek, two really high level players. Cheesh playing in Division 2 and Stanek being in the last Defcon finals. So two really high level players, and they have an interesting setup over there. They have 35th and 6 Moto, which we were pretty scared of. They picked first in the divisions, so we were like, we need something before deploy as well. So we picked TKS again, and then we need something to deal with T64s and T80s, whilst also bringing enough infantry to the fight in the center. And that's why we picked 24th. So 24th and TKS. With TKS this time it's Jawbreaker's hands, because we both are TKS enjoyers. And yeah, he doesn't play 24th, so that's why I picked it. I played it quite a bit lately. Meanwhile, Cheesh and Senek, yeah, 35th, really strong forward deploy division. And 6, fantastic artillery with the quick reloading, the Crescent, and then also heavy tanks. The IVs on their side, the BMD2s are decent. The BMP1s at 6 gets not so much, so our Bradleys should have the advantage there, but it's not the most important thing on this map. Like, IVs can really help, but because the line of sights here are actually longer than you would expect in the center, but it's not the most important thing. Infantry is more important, artillery is really important, and then some heavy tanks that can push through are quite nice to have as well. Yeah, we went for a similar strategy as in game number 1 in the tournament, or a hard push towards the 3 center points and really trying to get the tick on early, though we expected a lot more opposition this time as they have a heavy forward deploy division, so that's why we have full-on forward deploy here with TKS. All units that you can have here with TKS going in. Green Berets, Vulture Mega B1s, 3 AMX 10 RCs, and yeah, a lot more Green Berets and Vulture Mega B1s everywhere, plus a real RA 20mm as an AA, with me having a lot of Bradleys, 1 M1 IP here for Charlie. We didn't use the National Guard tanks in this deck because we expect a lot of ATGMs and so on to fly, and them to get stressed out quite easily, and then they are pretty useless. So it is the CEV instead as the filling unit in the tank slot, as infantry support here can be quite important. Yeah, 1 Bradley going to the flank here, the Bradley CV capturing over here, the military police leader for India, and then into Echo, and yeah, the M1 IP here going through the center to Charlie. So 3 CVs, all my investment, as yeah, TKS we needed for the forward deployment here. 1 sniper from me for the rear line that can help out with a bit of fire support as well. And here we go, AMX 10 coming around. We have some Mi-8s transports there coming in from the 6 with the Luftsturmjägers and so on. The East German Fallschirmjägers and helicopters. Infantry here being surprisingly defensive. Like, they didn't even get fully into the zone. We had some action going on over here in the center as well, but it was less aggressive than we expected. So they had some shenanigans coming around on the flank. Mi-2 Urn, really annoying little helicopter. Mi-8 here coming in to drop down there to get some infantry into that building. And meanwhile, TOW2 got to the front line. That's a really strong point, as we expected heavy tanks. T-55As instead it is, which I was pretty surprised by. T-55s, tank that is relatively decent at fire support, though not that great at fighting other tanks, and fire support is not really what it feels like these divisions lack, but it's a cheap tank, and yeah, it can deal with the Bradleys on short range. On long range, the Bradleys obviously with the ATGMs have the advantage. And with the M1IP frontally, they don't really stand a chance. Book also got really far forward here. They might have expected some air shenanigans from the get-go. Rocket artillery takes care of the TOW2. That's a big loss. A really strong artillery barrage there. And yeah, the M1IP tries to get a kill onto the Book. It does miss with its shot though. Book does disengage. Good reaction there. So the M1IP has to disengage as well. Doesn't want to get any further into infantry anti-tank range or anything like that. And yeah, the 50 cals here being decimated as well. Pulamachiki going down. AMX-10 RC over here gets missed twice. Really fortunate. We get the military police leader around as well. That gets us up to a +3 here. And the Bradley on the way as well to try to get more points captured. Stingers on 2 in the center and 1 on the flank each, as I was the short range AA person after the VLRA 20mm, and then Stahl had 2 cuts of Eyehawks and a card of the Rolands in there in his deck. So I was just there for the manpads against the helicopters, and he would deal with any air spam potentially. Present Scooper here getting supported by T-55As, but Bradley's now coming along, getting a great hit there. And yeah, that's what I'm talking about. T-55s on the long range, not that efficient. Gets another kill there. T-55s being destroyed. AMX-10 RC here from the side, trying to do some shenanigans as well. The AMX is surviving surprisingly long. A lot of medis there, not hitting it. Quite fortunate, but I mean, Stahl also smoked well and so on, but a couple of misses were still pretty lucky for us down there. Meanwhile, Kev and Bradley moving in the center. Infantry behind it should move up. I'm a bit slow with that. T-55A here coming along, and the rocket artillery really strong. Like, this is super scary. M1IP under fire. It's the rockets of 35th though. No rocket artillery or even normal artillery from 6 early on, which was a bit surprising. Like, we expected some early hyacinths, but they didn't come along. MX-10 here in another fight against a D-44, which is a fight that the MX-10 shouldn't win once more. Maddie's coming along again over here. As the MX-10 aims up again. Jaeger's moving forward as well. Military police rate of 11 hit points. Quite tanky there in the rear of the zone. And the +5 is real now. That is pretty big. M48s here being spammed around the battlefield as cheap fire support by Stahl. I'm surprised he uses the ones without the 50 cals, the slightly more expensive and slightly higher AP ones. But I feel like the 50 cal, the fire support one, is a bit nicer usually. Yeah, the Kev here helping out with fire support as well, stopping the infantry from getting into the middle. Whilst the sniper over here does a decent job as well from a standoff range. Yeah, the Urns over here got beaten. There is something with an ATGM in this building though, so pushing forward is not that easy. Medis versus M48 here once more. And by now, the fire support really starts to arrive for the enemy. BMP-1s and BMD-2s outnumbering our forces over here, and we lack any sort of mid-range AT. We have some Bradleys coming up, and that is pretty important, especially with the Mac Rifle Dragons as well, that can deal with IFVs, but the enemy is keeping us constantly busy. Those rockets, once more, strong show. Over here, the Bradleys really holding the ground nicely. Like, this is actually surprisingly good territory for these IFVs. They did a good job. M1IP falling back to get repaired, whilst more and more T-55As coming in. They really try to spam these cheap tanks, but they're not cheaper than Bradleys, and Bradleys outrange them. And can deal with them with the ATGM. There goes another one. Over here though, yeah, the BMD pushing forward. Only military police up front. They don't have any AT and an airmobile, but that is not in range of the BMD-2s either. So these units are in trouble. Meanwhile, on the left side, my push is failing. The National Guards and the Bradleys dying to the one Medis unit in there. That was a problem, but a Cobra came in because I didn't see any AA when I flew with my Phantom over here to kill one of the helicopters. So I thought I might as well use a Cobra myself here to clean this up if there's no AA around. And well, we are in a tough fight over here. The Urn helping out the enemy. Bradley's trying to hold them off, whilst we are at a +6, and that's a fast timer. That is fantastic. +6 is meaning that we would win in 4 minutes time, so the enemy needs to stop that ASAP, or otherwise we have a quick victory similar to our first match. Gazelle Hot here coming in with an ATGM hit, killing off some BMD2s, but currently no CV in here. Dejan Pulomachiki pushing up as well. Popos under fire by the engineers and the fire teams, and yeah, the Cobra finds the enemy here up north as well. Another National Guard unit with Bradley pushing forward, and the infantry fights in the center going pretty well, though there comes the CV stopping us from a +6 to a +4, giving the enemy a couple more minutes time, and if they can fully get control of that zone, they will have a decent amount of time to push us back. MiG-29 here coming in for the Cobra, so the Cobra at least gets rid of the Luftsturmjäger and does survive for now. Double Phantom was in the rear, waiting because I considered using a Strike Eagle here on the left flank to push through, as the center was holding decently and I felt like we could use a Strike Eagle to either push Alpha or push Foxtrot, or if need be, suicide kinda onto an enemy CV in the center. But with this way, we were able to clean the side over here. BRDM pushed out, and the Bradley on the way for the Alpha zone to keep the tick up or get it even potentially higher. MiG-21 Biz gets the hit in, but the Phantom on the hunt gets the kill against it. So the AA there not working out. Double Phantom, too strong of a fighter, and that's what we also learned in 2v2. You really have to coordinate your air units together as a team, like especially in divisions where one has heat and the other one has quite a lot of bombers, but just in general, you can't really bring in single planes in team games. You have to set up when you get them in and then get them in as a real strike package. And that's not what the enemy did here. They played it kind of like a 1v1 with the airplanes, so that was really good, allowing us to get the advantage there. Meanwhile though, really under pressure over here, but the timer is real. BRDM 2U is targeted by the M110. We have an MLRS here as well, trying to deal with the enemy infantry, whilst the Bradley gets in the north, starts to get it up to a +6 again. And the BRDM 2U over here gets taken out by the artillery, whilst the military police leader here still alive. They fought for dear life quite a long while. There was a lot of fire on top of them. They really paid off with the 11 hit points there, and this is the situation where we get a +8, and that sets the enemy on an insane timer here. The BMD2 and co trying to push forward, but they need to get CVs in here super quickly now to stop this from killing them off in the next couple of seconds, and that is a big problem for them. They tried to charge us in the middle. BMP1 and BMP2 D2s coming along, and the CV in the south finally falls. Bradley coming up there with the laws, trying to get rid of this push, but no new CV for either side currently in there, so the +8 does still stand. Smoke coming into the center though, trying to allow a CV to get in there, but the +8 with the points on the left side is pretty big. Eagle gets the cluster bomber. 30 seconds remaining.
Well done, guys.
Strike Eagle and MiG-29. Yeah, both Eagles getting killed by a single MiG-29, with the missiles double hitting both of them. And the BRDM trying to come in for the north again, gets missed there, but the Law and the Dragon will keep on firing, and it's only 7 seconds. No CV in the south, no CV in the center, and the CV in the north goes down here last second as well. And with that, we had another GG here. and another victory. And with that, we are in the playoffs. So that's the important part. Yeah, my gameplay here with 34th, I was pretty happy with. I did a couple of slight mistakes. Air micro wasn't quite up there, but for the most part, I really enjoyed this game and I had a good time with most of my units. As you can see, engineers doing well, National Guard stingers doing well, a couple of other units that really did their job fantastically. And with that, we got W here in this game, stopped Cheesh and Snarlack from getting in here. And that is the big part. Both of these really good players. So we were quite surprised that it felt so easy. But I also feel like we really had that strategy down for this map. Would expect that we won't be able to play this map next week. So let's see how it goes there. Let's see what our opponents will bring up in the next one. But yeah, with the security of going into the playoffs already, it takes a lot of stress out of this, so we will be going chill in there, and we will still play for the win, but we will see how it goes. And yeah, with that said, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know down below how you like this format for these tournament games. If you would like anything to change, let me know down below as well. And with that said, hope to see you next time. Bye bye, and have a great day.